Sir, you can start.
Is this for me or is the other speaker speaking first?
Yeah, it's you. You are the first speaker, sir.
Okay. All right. My name is Todd. We're Chief of Police.
Hello, we are.
Hear you.
Mr. Todd, Mr. Todd, Mr. Todd.
Yes.
Just one moment, please. Thank you so
Yes.
much for joining us. Come on in. We need to come on in, everyone. We need to be able to. Mr. V, can you put the chats? I think I can see them here. We want to welcome you to Ask the Ambassadors. That's right, friends. Ask the Ambassadors. I'm Minister Sherry Guidry, your host, and I'm so excited that you're here. I'm the founder and the host of Ask the Ambassadors. Call a friend. Call someone you care about. Let them know that we're on. Tune in. Our mission here at Ask the Ambassadors simply is this, that we're here to inspire you. My friend, we're here to engage you, empower you, bring souls to Christ. And of course, we're here for the pastors. We're here for individuals such as yourself and for organizations, educators, churches, and also local authors, psalmists, and intercessors. We ask that you would just contact us if you want to be a part of this here in New Iberia and surrounding areas. Beloved, we want to showcase you. We want you to feel free to connect with us. Send us a prayer at asktheambassadors@gmail.com. We're going to go ahead on and get started, my friends. And we get started. We have a wonderful lady here. She's a psalmist here from New Iberia, Louisiana. She's a master of all trades, I call her. She stands in the gap. She shows up when you ask her to show up. Even if she have to go to work, she shows up. She's the one and only Miss Carol Lahoussi. She's my friend, and I love her dearly. Go ahead on and Miss Carol.
Thank you so very much, Minister Sherry Guidry. I'm honored to be here on this afternoon. The song says, "The goodness of God." I love you, Lord, for your mercy never failed me in all my days. I'm held in your hands from the moment that I wake up until I lay my head. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkness nights. You are close like no other. I know you as a father. I know you as a friend, and I will live in the goodness of God. Yes, all my life you have been faithful. Yes, you have. And all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing in the goodness of God. Yes, I will. I will sing in the goodness of God. Oh, I will sing in the goodness of God. My name is Carol Delahoussaye. I am a member of Manalis Baptist Church under the leadership of Pastor Eric Mitchell.
so much. Well, Miss, you can stay right there. Well, can you tell us, what it feels like to be a part of something like this, for the community? Tell us if we doing all right, because this is a tough.
Well, it's a pleasure. And I'm very honored to be here on this afternoon, a part of something that is going to help somebody else. I don't mind, being affiliated with this, with this program, or with the ambassadors
That's right.
of,
Ask the ambassador.
Ask the Ambassadors. That's what it
There
is.
you
Ask
go.
the Ambassadors. I'm just grateful and thankful for Minister Sherry for having me this afternoon.
Absolutely. So I see you on Facebook. What y'all was doing? Y'all had a ball. What you did? You went help out somewhere.
Well, I do help in the community. I'm also with the Grief Life Support Ministry with the co-founder, Rosalind Bob. And we, try to uplift and encourage those that are going through after losing ones. We all have been there. We all lost loved ones. 8 years ago, I lost my son. So I know what it is to go through the pain. And like I said, some people say, oh, it lasts that long. But yeah, it lasts. It lasts. So, and I help out with the feeding program during the summertime in the Weston Park. And I'm grateful to be a part of that. I also sing at St. Edward's Catholic Church as well. I direct the choir at my church, and I am also the president of my choir.
Absolutely. So I just want to bless you, woman of God, and just say, Lord, we just thank you for Miss Carol. I appreciate you. You are the best, and you never change us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you so much.
The volume's down.
Little technical. We got this. Can y'all hear me now? Yes. Can y'all hear me? Chief? Miss Shirley? Can you hear me? Okay. All right. We're at number 2. So I'm gonna implore you friends to go ahead on. Vic, let me see the stream live. I don't see any comments on the right-hand side of my screen. I want to implore you to go to asktheambassadors@gmail.com. You can send a prayer request. You can even send us a line. You can send us an idea for the show. And even if you want to be on the show, pastors, ministers, and elders, if you have a program that's going on, you want us to tell everyone about it or spread the word, send a line to asktheambassadors@gmail.com. Don't forget to put your name and also your phone number so we can call you back and clarify the information. We are on some major social media platforms, and we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Clubhouse, we're also on Spotify. And if you go to TikTok, just type in T. If you go to Spotify, type in Sherry Guidry. Look for the 2 cups of coffee, my friend. It has a little bit of cream in it. You can't miss it. And I hope you be blessed by some of the things we've been downloading. Next up, coming up soon, is the Chief of Police of the City of New Iberia Police Department here in New Iberia, Louisiana. But before we do that, beloved, it's coffee time. It's tea time. Pass the sugar and the cream. because we have some very special guests here in the media room with us today. And one of those guests, again, is the Chief of Police of the City of New Iberia. Welcome, Chief, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ms. Sherry, for having me. Can everybody hear me fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I appreciate the invitation to be here today. One of the things that always we look in the mirror when we hear concerns and questions that come up over part of any given day, that maybe we as a department not take that leadership on that, need to be more informative to our community to let people know exactly what things are available as resources from our department. Also, when it comes to the local crimes that are taking place, a lot of things that we don't do a very good job of, and we are addressing that as we speak, is to be able to inform the public of what your department is doing for you. When I got asked a question recently, and there was a person that showed up in the media about homicides that have taken place over the past 5 years that our department has been reestablished. One of the highlights of this is that we're solving these crimes at over a 79% solve rate, when your national average is right at 50% or just below. Our department and our police officers and detectives do a fantastic job of bringing closure for our victims. I've said, and the mayor has said on many occasions, that one life lost is one too many. We always strive to be able to not have that one life lost at any given time in our city. But as we know, our nationwide trend of many out there, especially some of our younger adults that have decided to not regard human life the way we did when we were coming up, when we were growing up. It's just a different era, and I think that the ministers coming together, the pastors coming together in prayer and in trying to unite Christians to be able to stand up and hold households accountable, and assist police in our community assist police in being able to not only solve crimes, but to also prevent some. And that's the part where we're trying to take that extra layer of prevention, and be able to give closure and also prevent anyone from being a future victim. So it's something that we're currently working on. The resources of our department, we have not advertised very well. We have a lot of resources in our department. One of the things that came up recently was a special needs registry, where you can register special needs. Well, our department has had this for the past 4 years. It's a CAD request form, which is our computer aided dispatching system, where if you register, and you can register online at the City of New Iberia app, which has the New Iberia Police Department on it. And on our app, on our police department app, it has a CAD request form where you can enter anyone in your household, or whether it be a neighbor or a loved one, family member that has a special need or some type of mental issue that the police need to know about when they get there. So that way, when we engage whatever call it might be, we'll be able to answer it in a way that is not as confrontational towards a person that's dealing with mental health issues. Because I think, as all should be aware, that mental health is also a form of some of the criminal activity that we've seen locally, because people that deal with mental health issues, as you know, are not thinking in a fair mind and in a reality a lot of times, and it's causing a lot of havoc in communities nationwide. Mental health is something that over time, and really it needs to be addressed in an immediate side, that we need to have some type of mental health resource and be able to deal and help people dealing with mental health crises and families dealing with those crises. That way we can take that as a form of our engagement and being able to relate and be able to deal with these issues as they come. What I've also learned a long time ago is don't talk too much when there may be questions that the community has for me that I can address directly. Because what I don't want to do is start speaking about a variety of different issues and subjects and not be able to answer a question that may be out there. So I would maybe ask the moderator, Ms. Sherry, to chime in. And I'm sure that there's been maybe some questions that she has had that she might want me to answer front end, so that way we can address those things as we go. I can't hear the volume on you, Ms. Sherry. I don't have you on volume. So anybody else here? I can't hear.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chief, for that information. I just want to say thank you again for actually taking the time out to come and address our community. We've been having a lot of questions. Somebody's phone over there is really going. Can you just turn yours off? Thank you so much. I appreciate
Now I
it.
can hear you better.
You can hear me better, so it was your fault. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Miss Shirley. Okay, so as I was saying, Chief, it's important that you would come on. Crime is not in a particular area. It's starting to spread all over the city, but it's not just New Iberia. It's all surrounding areas. It's throughout America, and crime is almost like it's on steroids at this point. And so I got a couple of questions for you that was put to me. And before I do that, I see that our QR code is up on the screen. If you like what we're doing, feel free to hit the QR code, and then you can move forward by donating something, and we give that back to the community. We always doing something for the community. But as I was saying, Chief, one of the questions was asked about, since there have been shootings in America all over, I've noticed that some of our municipalities in other parishes have implemented through either their sheriff department or the NI or their city police. They go about the schools. Is there a new protocol we have here for NIPD in case if there's a lockdown, a shooting, or any of this stuff? Can you address that very short because we're pressed for time?
Right. Yes, we have a relationship with our public school superintendent, also our private schools administration. We do periodic trainings inside of our larger school, which is NISH. And also we have access points that we train on a weekly basis with our SWAT team and with our police officers on a daily basis. In fact, we've secured where we have access. Our officers have access to every school in the city of New Iberia to be able to go in and address any type of threat immediately. In other words, a locked door, a lockdown would not obstruct us because each of the schools in the city have given us access to doors within those schools.
Absolutely. So where it's good for parents to know that here in the city of New Iberia, it's, sometimes people decide to shoot, they want to shoot in broad daylight. It's happening all over. The other thing that is, Chief, we never did share that cup of coffee. So I want to consider this as that cup of coffee when you came before the council when I was on the bench. And I told you I didn't get a chance to have a cup of coffee with you. So we're going to pass the cream and the sugar, and we're going to take a sip. This is our coffee time.
Okay.
My biggest question that everybody wanted to know was about the community policing. You were very big on community policing, remember? We talked about it extensively. And so with the NIPD, that even I was on that bench at the time when we brought the New Iberia Police Department back. Can you tell us what we're doing about community policing at this time?
Well, one of the main trainings we do with our officers on a yearly basis, because we have officers that come in and out, law enforcement profession that has a calling. As you know, not everybody's banging on a door to be a police officer these days with the climate nationwide. So with that said, as we have transitions of new officers and the current officers we do internal trainings to make sure that our officers know that our community comes first. Now, one of the things that we try to address at the same time is that we don't want to become a police state where the police come in and try to tell a community how they should do something. What we try to do is integrate into each community, because each segment of our community has its own way that neighborhood kind of gets along with each other, if it makes sense to you. Whereas one neighborhood might have more of a nuisance problem with loud music and those types, and another neighborhood might have drug addiction issues, and then another neighborhood might be more on a violent crime side. We try to address each of those segments in a different way that the community can come together with us. And also a big part for us is the Christian values of that, is being able to stay along the lines that we don't forget who God is, that God is the one that created us all to all come together and be equal. So
Okay.
it's important
Excuse me,
that we
Chief.
try to
I
integrate.
thank you for that answer. And I know that we have some other guests, and I'm just so honored and
Sure.
privileged to be able to interview you. And I guess I want to try to get to a few more questions. My
Please.
question is, the robberies, the theft. In my study, the Lord gave me this word for trespassers. We call them claim jumpers. Basically, they coming in your yard, they stealing your stuff. They're breaking into people's houses. They didn't pay for nothing. They didn't buy nothing, and they have no claim. And so now they call them, the Lord is calling them claim jumpers. And so according to Psalm 91, he talks about he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. So again, I say the word dwelleth. In Hebrew, I'm not a scholar, so if there's any pastors, bishops, or ministers, elders listening, the Hebrew word is yeshab. It means to dwell, to sit, to abode, to abide. And so I want to encourage our listeners and the people of the city of New Iberia, the taxpayers. Those are the ones that can make these claims, because regardless if you rent, you have a mortgage, or you're a tourist that's coming, you're still paying taxes. We are the Lord said to sit, to claim your stuff, and the Lord is going to protect you under the shadow of his wings. And also too, for the claim jumpers, can we address that right now? Why do you think we have an extensive amount of robberies where people are just coming in your yard and trespassing?
Well, there's a variety of reasons. One, obviously, you have addictions, drug addictions that people take what is not theirs, what people have hard earned for people that they take from, and they're using that to trade, pawn, or whatever that word might be able to go in there and get more to feed their addictions. So that's probably 80% of what you're seeing. Some of the other stuff is whether it be some of the homeless that are local, some people that don't have jobs.
Do you
that feel
find that
want to
on
go
certain
jobs,
certain segments of the city that we actually are having a larger percentage of that? And I know you probably don't have the statistics in front of you, but for where I live, the homeless sometimes, or maybe people that are down on their luck, and they tend to stake out people's property sometimes, walking up and down where they don't belong. How can our police officers address that, Chief? And also, the last thing is that you can incorporate it. We got 30 seconds for you. How can you address the speeding in our community? It's like they're on highway 90.
Yeah, well, the speeding is we're about to initiate a program. The mayor and I have been talking about being able to look at some other options of not taking away from the police officers working the beats to work the speedings. We have some options out there. We'll probably be announcing in the next few months. The homelessness stuff that you see walking, obviously, people have rights, and we have to make sure that as a law enforcement agency, we don't violate those rights, even for those that are homeless. So we can't just go and say that you can't walk down a public street or
Correct.
you can't walk down this street. So those
Well,
things are
excuse me,
very
Chief, one of
kind of a
those things,
sensitive
excuse me,
subject.
is,
Yeah.
and this is my last question for you. When I was on the bench as a city councilwoman for District 5, one of the things that we learned is that if signs aren't visible for people, where it says no loitering, they can clearly say they didn't know. Now, we're not talking about the everyday people that walk down the sidewalk. We're talking about those that tend to be a participator of purchasing something from a gas station, a store, and they're hanging out for 5 hours.
Yeah, and I know you're limited for time, so if I can interject,
Right.
the second part of that answer is that we have a program that we've initiated. Now, like I said,
Mhm.
I take my own hit for not making sure that we continue to let people know what those resources are. We have a form, an affidavit from
Mhm.
property owners that they can sign that says that they don't want anyone, not anyone trespassing on their properties. This allows us, as the affidavit of no trespassing, to be able to enforce on any given property within the city of New Iberia, anyone that's trespassing on that property. We have,
Okay.
it's an affidavit trespassing form. Our patrol captain, Ryan Boutte, has that available to anyone that is willing or interested in allowing us to go on the property and protect that property from being vagrated, vagrants and those types of things. So we have been doing that program. What we do is once we have that form signed, we then have Public Works draw up a sign that says no trespassing will be enforced by New Iberia Police Department.
I know that form very well, Chief. I was part of helping out with that form.
Yes, so
Lastly,
and there's several businesses that have done this, and you'll see the signs on their walls that say no trespassing being enforced by New Iberia Police Department.
nice. And if they violate that, then that's grounds for arrest.
And they're arrested now. Like anything else, you're talking about trespassing as a misdemeanor. It's not every time that they're going to end up in jail. It depends on the status of what the jail is accepting at any given time. But they are being arrested and being brought to court.
Okay, and I noticed this is the last question I got thousands of emails about. And then we're gonna let you go, Chief, because we know you have a busy afternoon. Why are the juveniles or even adults being arrested and then they back out in a few minutes or maybe a few hours and they're back committing crimes again? What's going on with that process?
Well, the process, the governor initiated a program called Justice Reinvestment, where one of the things is everybody being allowed a certain bond or a release bond for certain crimes that the jail nor police or sheriff have any control over. These are legislative, and I would strongly recommend and urge you to call your representatives and be able to deal with the legislation about why people are getting back on the streets in quick turnaround. This is something that we're facing because we do face repeat offenders that we've arrested in, days before that we're facing again days later. So we have the same frustration that you have as a community.
Absolutely. And when you purchase a home in New Iberia, you don't want anybody just coming and taking it and messing it up and vandalizing it and stealing from it. I mean, you're working hard. So, I feel for those that are victims of that crime, but I can assure them that Chief Dalbar is a fair person. If you reach out to him, leave a message at his office, he will get back with you. I can promise you that. This man is a stickler about returning calls. While we're here, to cut things short, I think Miss Charlize, welcome Charlize to the show. She's the lady ambassador. She's my friend. You were saying about the incident the other day. What was it? And we want to keep it short. We got like maybe 40 seconds.
We had a shooting at the front of Julia and Packer. And this was about 6:45 on a Sunday, I think it was. And I heard 8 shots in my house. All 8 shots.
Yeah.
Okay. We counted the shots. We own Pelican Driving School, our family. There was a young man who lives right next to where this shooting was, who was shot walking home from our driving school about 6 months ago. About 4 months ago, we had a major fight in front of my house. And a young man was hiding in my backyard. We don't want to have to walk our dog at night, protecting ourselves.
Number 2.
Yes, we do support the Second Amendment. This is not the New Iberia I grew up in. I grew up a street over from where we live. We rode our bikes on Hopkins Street. We rode our bikes on Corrine Street. We rode our bikes to Ambassador Lamel. We were able to do this safely. We are so concerned with our youth and the adults that are committing crimes, shooting each other, like no, not even thinking, and just shooting people. And like you said, the mental health issues in this country need to be addressed severely. You guys on the police force can only do so much.
Right.
We understand that.
Right.
The judicial system above you has to do better. We have representatives and senators that are running for office. None of what I've seen in their campaigns addresses violence, drugs, robbery, none of it. None. And that does not sit well with me because, like Sherry said, we are taxpayers. Our taxpaying money will be paying these representatives and senators' salaries. Literally, they work for us. Just like y'all for the police, on the police department, same thing. To a certain extent, I worked for the school board for 25 years. I worked for you and everyone who pays taxes here. Your taxes pay my salary. As a community, we need to come together. We need to not have the mentality of someone else will fight for that. We'll let them do it. No, everybody has to fight for it. It's not going to go away. Exactly. And Chief Dalbar, I am willing to sit with you and talk a little bit more about our area, the speeding down our 25-mile-an-hour street constantly. Those kind of things. I would really like to sit and talk to you, and we'll.
And I'd like to do that. And I agree, and we do, and we do it together.
So I think Chief, what she did was express a combination of the rest of the questions I had that I wanted.
No, And look, I get the frustration.
I was trying to cut it short, but I have about 50 more questions from citizens that actually send me emails. So she kind of wrapped it up a bit.
Yeah. Well, and I could tell you that what's interesting about the frustration of her hearing those 8 shots, we had 2 police officers that were about 6 blocks away that heard the same 8 gunshots. You know, so
Yeah.
it's not a matter of is our police cars in that area. They were 6 blocks away from you. And of
Yeah.
course, as you know now, the person responsible has been arrested and will be held accountable for that crime. But it seems more and more senseless, you know, and how can we address that? And I think that you said some good aspects of the mental health bus, but it's also being able to be held accountable in your home, you know, because if all these young generation are able to have 4 and 5 guns and AR-15s and these types of weapons and can walk freely in and out of their homes, my mom and dad would have beat me to a pulp if I would have walked out of my house, even not being dressed like a young man that should be respectable. You know,
Yes, sir,
that's
I agree.
part of the solution of this is that not only do we as a community need our parents to step up, but the neighbors to take accountability and pride in the neighborhood they have and make phone calls when they see something happening before it happens. In other words,
Well,
if
Chief,
they
I
see
just want to
someone walking
interrupt right
outside,
there. I just want to
yeah,
interrupt right there. Listen, you know, in our neighborhood, they don't want to do that. I have ex-military people in my neighborhood and we love each other. I'm telling them, they don't even want to try it. Their motto is, and it's not necessarily my
well, I know Miss
adopted
Sherry's
motto.
calling my phone if that
I'm going to
happens.
just say it and keep it real, because y'all know me to be real. Trespassers will be shot. And those that survive will be shot again. Don't come in our yards and
Hey,
take anything.
Miss Sherry, you and I will talk after this. How's that?
All right.
We were kind of cut from the same cloth, so
You know, the one thing we do, and Miss Sherry's aware because look, we've had to address some structure within our department even because she is right. Property crimes have been way up in our city than what it used to be. She's aware that Detective Greg Pete is one of my guys that does the
Yes,
property
he's
crime
very
stuff.
nice.
And he's been around for over 35 years, so he knows the people and he knows all the parts of our town and what makes it tick. So we're trying to find and have that balance of having the right people in those places to address those crimes. So we're readdressing some of those same things that the communities and you guys are outcrying for. So we hear your voice, and Sharice,
All right.
I'd
Thank
love
you
to
so
now time soon.
Thank you so much, Chief. We appreciate your time. Thank you, Ms. Chelsea, my friend. And just a little plug out for you. What do you do again?
I am a driving instructor at Pelican Driving School. And I also own Cajun Hot Tamales and Hot Dogs. It is a huge
What color is it?
hot pink trailer.
Say it
Food
again.
trailer, hot pink. You can't miss it. So we're
So where y'all gonna be at next? The food trailer. Because remember, you can't miss it. It's hot pink.
we don't have anything yet. But if
That's
y'all go
okay.
to our Facebook page, Cajun Hot Tamales and Hot Dogs, y'all will see because I'm constantly putting our events on there. Oh, you know what? My brain started working. September 28th, we will be at River Ranch for Rhythms on the River.
So I'm coming. I'm gonna be running to the truck.
Yes.
Now, since I
Miss
have a
Sherry,
lady ambassador pants, can I like put the line?
Sure.
Okay, okay.
Miss Sherry, can I return this phone call?
Just go open the door and come in.
All right. Thank you so much, Chief. We appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. And you can, if you want to continue to remain on the show, you're welcome to. If
I
not,
have to return
once
some
again,
phone calls.
I
So I
want to
appreciate
say, oh, he just drinking a soda. You want to stay right there? All right. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Shelby. I
Thank you for
appreciate it. Thank you
having me.
so much. All right.
As always.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Well, we're going to move on to our next guest. But before we do that, we're going to make sure that our guests know that there are door prizes or virtual door prizes. One of those door prizes is an absolute relaxing stress reliever chair massage. If you're laying down on the like button, if you are actually participating and putting comments, you may win that prize. We're looking forward to giving it to you as well. We've had a lot of winners for the show thus far. Our next guest is the one and only. Somebody get his attention. That's a busy man. He's the one and only. The mayor of Jeanerette, Louisiana. He's my friend. And he is here also to address the crime and just generally talk about what he's seeing in his area. Because remember, friends, it's not just in a particular area, it's spreading everywhere. All right, wrong screen, Vic. Thank you so much. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Minister Sherry, my good friend. God bless you for being such an effervescent outcome person.
Thank you, I tried. That's just God. I can't take no credit. Absolutely. So, your day was busy, I'm sure, as the mayor of the city of Jeanerette.
Always full. Today was a good day to be interacting with several of the employees.
That's good. That's good. So, is that with your administration portion of it, or is that the police department, or what portion are you guys working that focus at?
Well, today was administrative, meet with the mayor.
Oh, I should have made an appointment. Oh, there you go. There you go.
It was fun. It was fun.
Good. That's good.
It was
So that's some training going on, or it's just a little R&R? So
well, actually, it's something God placed in my heart to do within this term. This God bless me to have a second term.
okay.
And starting this fiscal year, I just want to reassure everyone that we're all on the same page, the same team, different roles, but the same goal.
That's good. That's good. Unity in the community. That's good. Different roles, but the same goals. So I'm just gonna put it to you. I'm gonna give you write down the business. How's the crime in Jeanerette?
Well, actually, things are going pretty quiet overall lately. Ago, we have Georgia on the side. That is still actively being working. We're still asking you up here to put the guns down. If you got an issue, do it. Settle it the old, if you do.
So do you guys have like a buyback program with the guns, things like that?
We've asked back. Actually,
This year?
yeah, Bishop Hogan and his team, along with Pastor Reverend Wilson Johnson, to set up the program for we have to prayer participation.
Okay. And so domestic violence, I know that it is, come on in, beautiful. Our licensed counselor therapist is here. So once again, how do you feel the connection, the collaboration between the church and actual government? What do you think about that? Because I think that there's somewhat of a gap. And I think that it just, the city moves like a well-oiled machine. And you got the pastors and the ministers and the elders of the church working with you to make the city better or participate in programs, create programs. What do you think about that?
Well, there's certainly a key component, and I believe, especially in my role getting there, I have what I call the Nehemiah moment.
Come on, talk about that. And then we're gonna go back to how you told me when you met me, it was the Nehemiah moment. Yeah.
Absolutely. It wasn't any other aspirations, and God certainly dealt with me quite a while.
Yeah.
And when here I am, and moving forward. Currently, our ministers in the community, they do reach out to me, and they do have their program taking place. Certainly, we look for more involvement. In fact, when I first started, what we did, we invited the ministers to come in, and he to meet with Brad, and we also have the children and leaders in the federal. There certainly can't be a disconnect.
That's
Not-
right.
Not this time of the year.
That's right. Even police departments and also city and parish governments, there must be a collaboration, a connection, a network to work together. When you work against that, your city is divided and it just won't work.
Word tells us, house divided or what?
It cannot stand.
So we're working towards that. It's certainly ongoing. We need all folks to understand. Certainly, yourself have served as city government.
Yes.
So there are a set of rules that we all have to follow.
So let's talk about that.
Well, she just wrote me a little note. Keys to the city. Well, for one thing, we are the sugar city.
Oh, all right.
That is something we know that sugar is sweet. We're on the rebound, rebuilding. As a matter of fact, the close friend of mine is on the ground. She coined a little phrase that says, "Generates rising." I like to believe that. We've been very blessed with quite a few capital outlay funding, grants, and my ambition or my goal is that apply for it, we'll get the matching funds. Just stepping out faith. You have to.
Absolutely.
So we just recently completed a water tower project. We're working on a water system. So we're being very ambitious and aggressive. Now, on the crime thing, one of the things that really concerns me is that we haven't the fentanyl issue.
That's right.
Just like any other, but
Around America.
yes, around America. And we're finding that many times our emergency personnel who are on calls, they're having to use the narcotic, and I think we may have had last year a couple of homicides that were related to possibly overdose with drugs that might be based with that. So it's one of those things, certainly prayers first.
That's right.
But you have to continue to educate us. And you know, we hear and we've all said this, that everything starts home.
That's right.
It truly starts home. And the young parents, they got to turn themselves and certainly first get more connected. Absolutely. But do those things that are right. You know, mental psychic network just wasn't equipped to handle the setback.
So how important is prayer at that moment when we do have setbacks in life?
Well, certainly we must pray.
Absolutely.
But in that prayer, you just also believe. If
Absolutely.
you're praying and not believing and trusting without by faith,
Yeah.
it has to be there. Because truly, God's there.
Absolutely.
God will do it. Because
Won't he do it? Won't he do it? All right now. All right.
Don't make me preach.
All right, go ahead on and preach. Go ahead on and preach. I got about 40 seconds, 40 to 60 seconds. Talk to us about anything that God has walked you through in life that you knew, like you know, It wasn't nobody but God.
Well,
They did.
well, certainly,
And
where,
as a mayor in a position of a town, I'd love for you to tell us about that.
certainly where I'm at as a city leader, it's certainly about servant leadership. I realize even more, God put it on earth. He said, I give you the 11th commandment, love you one another as I have loved you. And when you're in servant leadership, boy, it's tough to love, but
Absolutely.
you must love.
Ooh, I know.
And I thank God for it.
But you have to have a heart for people. And I don't think this is something you can like acquire or try to learn. This is something you're born with. You're born with a servant leader heart. This is not nothing you can just make up and go learn in a class.
So, Minister, I tell you, in my role, God bless me to go a second term. But what I really realized that by service, you become a part of it.
Oh, absolutely. Let's
Big
talk
old
about that.
target on your back.
Yeah.
And also you still go forward because you know there ain't but nobody but God who can bring you this.
Last question. So how easy is it to be an African American mayor of a city?
Well,
And is it the first ever?
no, not for general.
Okay.
A few years back, we had the late kid.
Okay. So what about you?
Well, as I
I
go
got
forward,
10 seconds.
as I go forward, it's pretty tough because sometimes we African Americans are much harder on our very own, than let's say the other group. For me, I serve everyone.
That's right. And that's why I had you on the show. And lastly, I want to let you know, do you have any resources for the women in your town? Do you have any other programs you want us to know about?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I call Minister Sheridan.
Oh, you called me on vacation.
She was on vacation. No, as far as for in the community, yes. The lady I mentioned earlier, Miss Laura Brown.
Okay.
She has a program that's called Be the One That Helps.
I like it.
And it's a very strong program that focuses on mental health and the mental health activity programs.
So her name is Miss Laura Brown. So I'll get with you if we need a referral for that. Lastly, you have someone here that is from your city as well. Her name is Miss Trina Joseph, and she's with Women of Salt. That dynamic person. She's also a lady ambassador here with me as part of this program. As another lady ambassador that's here, Miss Wanda Nicholas. So
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. And these are all lady ambassadors. And ask what? The ambassadors. That's right. Yeah, that's right. And that's right, my friends. Ask the ambassadors. So I'm gonna let you go. Don't leave yet. I want to know where's the copy to my keys to the city that you gave me because I lost it. So.
I've got it.
Oh.
I don't have it with me, but I will deliver it.
Okay, because I'm not making this up, y'all. He did give me the
Yes.
keys to the city of Gillette.
Yes.
Yeah, he did present that to me. Okay. So I can have another copy, you know.
That's what you did. I remember now. I do have.
All right. Thank you so much, my friend, for coming. I love you much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you.
Let's give it up for Mr. Calvin. Huh? Oh, okay. All right. The next up, we have a wonderful guest. She is none other than Miss Trina Joseph. She is a lady ambassador. We're going to be very brief because we spent a lot of time talking about the crime with our chief of police, which we're grateful to have. And as she gets settled, I want to remind you that there's a QR code on your screen. Please scan it and hit the donate. If you feel that what we're doing here is for a great cause, it doesn't pay me, but what it does is the prize is it gets the little snacks and food and community things, and we're gearing up for some festive things coming soon. So at this time, we want to welcome a beautiful young lady. She is phenomenal. She is my friend. She is none other than Trina Joseph, and she is a lady ambassador. Welcome to the show. Lady ambassador.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
It's a pleasure as usual.
All right, well, we're going to be brief because we're running out of time. But if you could tell us exactly what Women of Salt is in ministry, I think it's in Jeanerette, Louisiana.
Yes, in Jeanerette,
So we do have some resources here in Jeanerette, Louisiana.
we do. Women of Salt was established in 2020. We have 364 members. The members extend from Louisiana all the way out to Texas, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, and California. Women of Salt is a group of women who love God, who are seasoned, anointed, loving, and full of testimonies. We are a group of women of different ethnic groups, religion, and ages. We are women that they consist of women who have battled breast cancer and other cancers, different types of cancer. Even the men, we have some men that come to our conference.
Okay.
Women of Salt was formed also for victims of domestic violence. And the vision of Women of Salt is to someday have a program to where we can provide jobs, food, financial stability for women who are falling short with money to pay their bills. And I hope to provide some help for the homeless of the town of Jeanerette that we also have. I am a believer that we are supposed to always be our brothers and sisters' keeper for the long haul.
Well, I tell you what, that is a mouthful. I like when you said to be a resource to your actual community. That is so very important and very vital, especially for hurting people. I always say I can't talk about nothing that I don't know anything about.
That's right.
Yeah, you won't dare find me talking about anything Brandon knows that, right, Brandon? Right, I'm not gonna talk about nothing I don't know nothing about.
That's right.
But I'm gonna talk about something that I know I've been through, or that I've witnessed, or that I've come out on the winning side with the victory in my hands, of course, with God winning. So one of the things I just want to reiterate again, you can watch us on YouTube. You can also scan the QR code, or you can scan the one that's on for the website. If you just take your phone and put it to the screen, scan them. It'll take you right to where we are. Once again, we have another virtual door prize. I can't see your actual chat right here to the side. I'm not seeing the comments. Vic, can you put the comments on the screen? If there are any comments, because we want to have some winners at the end of the program. We have Women of Salt. I think you have the door prize, the virtual door prize for those that watch.
Yes.
And lay down on the heart button and lay down on the like.
Yes. So please press the heart button, the thumbs up, and leave some comments, because this is a wonderful show. We are trying to do something for our community, and we want to get you involved. And the more that get involved, the blessings will come down. So press them hearts, do those thumbs up, and you can win a T-shirt that says Women of Salt. Remember, she's seasoned, she's anointed, she's loving, and she's full of testimonies. And I am also the owner of Mrs. T's Creole Cajun and African Cuisine, Louisiana's authentic Cajun catering company. You can win a 2-person meal, dinner for two. Dinner for two. Personal chef. We'll give you the different meals that you can choose from, and I personally will cook the food, and I will give you that for free. We'll have a time limit for the winning dinner. Just go ahead and put your names in, but you have to press the hearts. You got to press the thumbs up.
Comment, a lot of comments.
That's right.
And she's gonna prepare that food, y'all, and she cooks very well. And yes, not only that, she's gonna serve it up for two.
That's right.
It could be a date night, guys.
That's right.
Ladies, good idea. So
And
I lay down on the hard foot.
And they'll get a bottle of wine. We're going to also give you a bottle of Stella Rose. I know a lot of people like that. It's very good. So come on now, press those thumbs, press the hearts, do what you have to do to be a winner, because Mrs. T's will come into your home and cook you a meal for you and your loved one.
Wow, that is awesome. Thank you so much, woman of God.
Thank you.
Every day, all day. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am.
And so Trina has been a real great asset here at Ask the Ambassadors. I don't think I'm not a huge, I'm not a driver to the way they say it. They think I'm a little hard, but the truth of the matter is I stretch them. I stretch them far and wide. And then after that, they stretch me. Because they like messing with the weaknesses in me, so I'm still learning. I'm still just pray for y'all. Pray for y'all.
It's a blessing.
So we want to give a shout out to Bishop uh, uh, Benjamin Carter. His son is here from the Tech Group, the Carter Tech Group. Come on, sit this chair, Rose. We got two seconds. Come on. The Carter Tech Group, real fancy and all. So churches, pastors, believers, those that have ministries, you need a tech guy. He's my brother, and he is my friend. He's none other than Mr. Brandon Carter. Welcome to the show, Mr. Brandon Carter. Appreciate it. So you can give us about maybe 35 seconds of what you do and when you found it and what y'all do.
What we do is we try to take the media to the next level. We understand that a lot of people don't know or comprehend what they do. So they call it. We do web pages, landing pages, QR codes, anything technology-wise. Install stereo churches. We're about to do a major church in this state. Even Carter Tech Group, if you will.
Say that one more time really slow.
Carter Tech Group.
Carter Tech Group at gmail.com. Is there a phone number that they can reach out, or you prefer that
Just
you're
send
gonna?
my email.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And once again, what's the name of that?
Carter Tech.
Carter Tech Group. Thank you so much for being. All right. All right. Our next guest is here. She is a local author, and she is a licensed therapist. Vic, do we have time to go to this one, or it's going to be just a couple of minutes, or we have to go to part two? I think I'm slightly over by a couple of minutes, but I'm still going to be fine. It's my show. Talk to me right now, Vic. Let's see. I guess I'm still good. So, with that being said, we have a wonderful guest here. She is very sweet. She's very smart. She's a new local author from the city of Lafayette. And she's also my friend. Oh. Also, you do have some comments. Oh, look, I found the comment. Oh, boy, somebody gonna win this. Miss Alexis Gidry, thank you so much for joining us. She said community thing. Miss Cornette Johnson, thank you again for joining us. I'm sorry, I'm just getting the comments. My tech group don't have it on the side where I can see you guys. Also, who else do we have? We have Miss Cheryl Simon. She said she would love to be involved. She is my class. Bye.